So here we are doing a retake because somehow the camera screwed up the files. This is a 1997 Kawasaki ZX11. Classic motorcycle, way ahead of its time, one of the fastest motorcycle of its time. And customer couldn't get it to run after it sat for 3 years. Well, there's a lot more wrong with it than it not running. Carburetors have already been taken off. But the carburetors were totally clogged up with grunge. The throttle wouldn't even work. I got that fixed. It works now. There was a half a gallon of gas in the tank. I added 2.5 gallons to it. Used the choke. It got it to run. It has an electric fuel pump. Low pressure pumps up to the carburetors. Got them filled up. But the problem was when it was running, I only let it run for 3 or 4 seconds. I had fuel coming down here from an overflow that was coming out of the carburetors. So automatically the carburetors had to be rebuilt because of that. Probably because the float needle valves, which control the fuel flow into the carburetor, are sticking or it's gummed up or the fuel is just overflowing for another reason. So carburetors came off. There's other problems with the bike. The clutch doesn't work. The hydraulics are totally trashed. So I'll be rebuilding that also. That's here and here. I bled this thing for about an hour, tried to get it to bleed. It wouldn't even do a small bleed out of here. So something's clogging it up or it's just totally screwed up. So I'm going to have to pull the master and a slave off and rebuild them. Otherwise, the bike looks like it's in pretty good shape. The rear tire has not been produced since 2011. That rear tire has been on there for at least 13 years. Okay. It said the owner said it had not been ridden in 3 years. I'm thinking it's been a little longer than that because the registration says the last time the tag ran out was in August of 2011. Mm-hmm. So yeah, but it has 14,000 miles on it. For the moment it ran pretty good, so it's running on all four. Has oil in it, and it doesn't have any major damage. So this is gonna be a little project here I'm doing for the guy. I'll make a little money on it. Notice the polished frame. This is one beautiful bike when the tank's on it. So here we are. Okay, I just had my fingernails done at the manicurist, so I don't want to get them all grungy and terrible. So we're going to wear gloves today. Of course, I didn't do that, but I have to have some excuse for putting on rubber gloves. I am not a doctor, so yeah. I never used these when I was in the business because, well, you can see how much fun they are to put on, and they take forever. And then they get torn, you have to do it again. But in this case, when I work on carburetors and brake pieces and things like that, the rule is cleanliness and keeping my hands protected from the harsh chemicals. I have carb cleaner. I have brake cleaner. You do not use this on carburetors. You do not use this on brakes. They are designed for different environments. First thing we're going to do here is pull all the screws off the bowls, get them separated. Then we'll pull the diaphragms off. My handy dandy, God only knows how old this thing is, drill. It's seen much better days, but it still continues to go. Now, a lot of guys, they all like pull the screws out, put them in a little place, and I can do that. Got my little parts bowl there, my glass parts bowl that I picked up from a neighbor when they moved out. Oh my God, that looks horrible. Let me give you a quick close-up here of this fuel bowl. Let me get a flashlight, hang on. There. flashlight. Look what's in there. Okay, this is what I usually find in old carburetors anyway. So all the screws are the same on all of these. I'll just put them in here. And I'm not going to take anything else apart. So we know that's screwed up on at least once, probably all of them. Get these off so I don't bore everybody. The big thing about carburetors is the gasoline that was in them, especially when they started using ethanol in the gas. It attracts water. Alcohol itself will not corrode metal usually. Yeah, this one's about the same. Won't corrode metal usually. In fact, it's very non-corrosive. It's oh, that's horrible. I do keep them in order. So what you get here is the other chemicals in parts of the gasoline plus water, because alcohol and gas has an affinity for water, and it's called hygro with a G, scopic action. And that one too looks like I feel like a dentist all of a sudden. Those stuff is so bad. So it has hygroscopic action, which means one drop of water will try to permeate the entire system. I'll probably find something like this in the brakes, in the clutch hydraulic system as well. So, by the way, this is a $25 bill. Back in the day when I bought it, it was $25. Let's try this. Much easier. Okay. And yeah, so these are all just totally grunged up. That tells me right now the jets are going to come out. I'm going to have to clean everything. I'm going to have to soak everything. You see the different colors of the floats? I don't know. Let me pull this up so you can see it closer. You see the different things? That's water and alcohol here and here and here. This is just nasty. All that is going to be replaced, cleaned, rotted out. These right here, the jets inside, here, here, and here, all of it's coming apart. The reason these were sticking is because they go into a channel right here. The fuel goes up in there, and these regulate how much fuel flows. Pulls up to flow more fuel and lays down to restrict fuel. So when they get stuck, it's because something was in there. The second I tried to move them and they were stuck, I knew I had a problem. So that's where we start. Yeah. That's okay. I got my little goldfish. Got my Diet Coke that isn't Diet Coke. This is actually Sam's Mart Cola from a 2-liter bottle that costs $1. And I just reused the Coke bottle. Because you know what? It tastes the same and I'm cheap. I'm not cheap to work for you, but I'm cheap because I know exactly what I don't need. So we have picks, we have brushes, we have other brushes, we have all sorts of things to clean out passages with. And this is looking like about a long time cleaning, lots of cleaning. The beautiful thing about carburetors is when they're clean, they work great. Fuel injectors are the same way. When they're clean, they work great. You get a dirty fuel injector, it is hell. It's not spraying right, it's not burning the fuel right because it's not atomizing, the whole 9 yards. A well-running carburetor will keep up with the fuel injector about 95%. But the fuel injector can be programmed for certain things that the carburetors can't without going in and doing a bunch of mechanical changes. Back in the day, this was the thing. It works just fine. If you ever lose electricity, this is what we'll go back to. So this is perfectly good stuff. It just needs to be cleaned. So let me let you go while I go and start tearing down some more stuff, cursing, swearing, and start cleaning. Alrighty, we're back. I'm finishing up the last carburetor. I've already had these 3 all cleaned. Some things to show you that are really important here. This is called an emulsion tube. The main jet goes here. That's grungy as hell. The fuel goes through the main jet into here, where these 4 large holes are, and then is in this chamber. And these holes, right here, here, and here, and on the other side, meter how much fuel goes through this tube and into the main fuel passage that is controlled by the diaphragm, this one right here. If any of these are clogged, dirty, or in any way obstructed, it will affect your fuel metering when the engine's running above about 3,000 RPM. So those have to be super clean. And you do that, you take something like this little thing, you find the holes, which are very hard to find, you slide it through both sides and clean them. And you do it several times because you'll get grunge in there, and you blow it out, and you clean it out with carburetor cleaner. Then you install it. After you've already cleaned all the other passages, right? 8 mil. Now, right now I'm putting all the parts back in the carburetors, but they're cleaned. See, this main jet has been cleaned. They were totally clogged before, so that's been cleaned. I'm just putting them in place though, so I don't lose them, just in case I need to reuse them. Because when the new kits come, sometimes the parts don't fit. This is the last bowl. See how it's all rusty? The other ones actually had syrupy stuff in here. I'm just going to clean this real quick. Take the scribe, go in here, this little place right there where it likes to hide, right there, and then around this drain hole, and some other places. You take your paintbrush, and of course you do the cleaning thing. Anybody who's ever cleaned an M16 will appreciate this. Because this is the same kind of stuff you got to do with that rifle. It gets really carved up. Anyway, so that's all. Basically, scrub that a little bit, rinse it. Don't need a lot of fluid there. And I still have some stuff in here, so I'll grab my wire brush, a little end on it, go in here, and just kind of get in there and clean it out really good. Run. Take out my frustrations on things like that. Another rinse. That's pretty much all cleaned up. Take paper towel. That's not working very well apparently. There you go. And wipe it out really well. You'll see a little staining in there. I'm not really concerned about that. The second gas goes through there. Anything that's in there will be absorbed and pull through. I really don't like that amount, so I'll hit it with the brush again. Anything I can do to get all that little tiny little particles out. What people don't understand is that gasoline in a steel fuel tank will pick up things called microparticles, ultra tiny little particles of metal, rust, etc. And they will go right past your fuel filter. They're small enough. They're down to the microscopic range, actually. They'll go right past the fuel filter, and they'll lodge in your carburetor and get in one of those little places where they can't be gotten rid of. And then they'll start accumulating. And the engine turns on, and the engine turns off, and all sorts of things happen. They settle, you get in there, and they group together. And being ferrous, they're magnetic, so they really group to each other really well. Yeah, that's clean enough, I think. There. So everything's back together. The only thing I don't have here is the float needle valve to control the fuel going in, and the floats themselves, and the new jets, which will be here and down in here. So everything else is in there, and of course there's a cross rod here for the float valve. I'll just put that on there real quick, and put screws in, and then we'll be done with the cleaning part here. And I will go through this again when I get the new parts, just to make sure. I'll give it another good spray of carb cleaner. I'll go through every little piece and double and triple check them. One little speck can ruin your day, but for now, I'll just button it up so nothing gets in there, set it off to the side, and wait for the parts to arrive. Voila. The choke works just fine. Everything's cleaned. The outside needs to be sprayed off again because I got some spatter on it. For now, this can sit over here. I'll put all the other parts in my glass bowl. Make sure I have them for when the new parts get here. All these are being replaced. The rods are staying. The jets are being replaced. The little filters are being replaced. And the seats for those needles are being replaced.